Hey, this is Dan McCool with Second Mile School Therapy. It's likely that you have a student or two in your class that has an IEP. That means that you are a member of the IEP team and you'll be involved in an IEP meeting sometime during the school year. You may not realize it, but that means you have some pretty big responsibilities to collaborate with other team members and to help your student achieve their IEP goals, even if you're not working on them directly. Here are a few suggestions to make the IEP meetings go smoothly. First, here are some things to avoid saying. Never, ever use profanity. I realize that many people would never use that kind of language, but it happens more often than you might think. Sometimes a parent can get upset in these meetings and they let some choice words fly. At times, the knee-jerk reaction is to respond in a similar way. That's a mistake. I've heard everyone from a vice principal to a preschool teacher drop some four-letter words in an IEP meeting. That sort of behavior screams of unprofessionalism, and you're paid to be a professional. Act like it. Pros do not lose their cool in front of a parent. I promise, if you use words like this in front of parents, everyone wonders how you act when you're in front of the children. You must be the picture of the professional educator. Number 2. Do not suggest that the child be taken to a physician to be checked for ADD, ADHD, autism, Asperger's, or any other medical condition. If a suggestion like this is made in the IEP meeting, it needs to come from someone who has the authority to pay for that. There's supposed to be a person at every IEP meeting called an LEA, or Local Education Authority. Basically, this person has the authority to commit resources of time and money in the name of the school. I'm not saying that a referral to a specialist or a physician should not be made, but it should come from someone who controls some resources. Number 3, do not suggest that a student should have a personal paraprofessional. Again, that suggestion should come from someone with the authority to allocate resources. What sometimes happens is a teacher will say something like, "Well, I think he should have a personal para." Instantly, the parent is nodding their head and they're imagining how their child would be so much better off with an individual close by to help as soon as there's a hint of frustration or confusion. Then the LEA says something like, "Hold on, we're not at the point where we need to consider a para. We've got other avenues to explore first." Then all of a sudden, the parent feels like they've lost something very valuable that they never had in the first place. And they're feeling ripped off because the administration doesn't want to provide needed resources. So in 10 seconds, a confrontational situation has been created by a flippant suggestion. Here are 3 things you can do to make IEP meetings go as smoothly as possible. Talk with the other team members before the meeting starts. If you have concerns or you have ideas on how to help the student, like getting him a paraprofessional or getting an occupational therapy eval, it's a great idea to share those with the rest of the team prior to the start of the meeting. Many schools have a staffing where they talk about the students with IEPs coming up in the next week. Even if you can only participate by passing a note to a process coordinator or a SPED director, you keep unpleasant surprises from hijacking the meeting. Number 2, be prepared to share how the child is doing well and where their strengths lie. A parent needs to hear some good things about their child, even if you can only think to say, "She has strong family support." After all, if they're at the meeting, they're probably supportive. If you have some concerns or have bad news to report, it's a great idea to offer a praise sandwich. That is, tell them something good, followed by the bad news, but end with more good news. It might sound something like this. "Caleb tries hard and he wants to please, but he struggles with poor attention and I have to redirect him frequently. And that's proving to be a distraction to the other students." Now, when he's focused, the quality of his work improves tremendously. I expect that once we get a few of these issues under control that we're talking about today, we're going to see improvements in academics, and he's probably going to seem like he's enjoying school more because he will start winning in the classroom again. Number 3, ask questions about how you can help the rest of the team. For example, what can I do to help Johnny better manage his sensory issues? Or how can I reinforce what you're doing in therapy? What do you need from me to help Alexa improve? All sorts of questions like that, they're perfect. By making efforts to have good communication on the IEP team, by asking how you can support the rest of the team, and when you appropriately frame concerns and bad news in a way that parents can swallow it, you're helping the team to serve the student. And by helping the IEP team, you're ultimately helping your student. Look, most schools have trouble finding and keeping therapists, never mind great therapists. We provide first-rate therapists and use a specialized system which lets students achieve their goals, makes parents happy, and makes life easier for everyone working at the school. If you follow these suggestions, it will make your life easier. I'm Dan McCool with Second Mile School Therapy. If there's anything we can do to serve you or your students, don't hesitate to reach out.